My name is John Waid. I was in the United States Air Force from 1966 to 1977. I went to Vietnam in April of 1968, originally on ranch hands. Ranch hand was Agent Orange. I was going to be flying on the 123s, dispersing Agent Orange around. Wanted to do that because of the flight pay I got. Got an extra $50 a month for doing that. Unfortunately, or fortunately now, when I got to Benoit for in-processing, they decided they needed me somewhere else. Well, my AFSC was A43151A, which was a reciprocating aircraft mechanic. Had worked on 121s, B-90s, K-97s, all the big aircraft. And they sent me to an outfit called 19th TAS, Tactical Air Support Squadron, working on bird dogs. Bird dogs were little Cessna 150, basically, tail draggers that had, the only weapons they had on them were a pod of 4 2.75 Willie Pete's, white phosphorus rockets they used for marking targets. And I was originally sent to Cu Chi, which was a big base out in the southwest part of Vietnam. During the Tet Offensive in January, February of 1968, the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong had swept in and attacked bases from Hue all the way down to Tan Son Nhut and anything in between, which included Tay Ninh. Tay Ninh was overrun. It wasn't a large base, it was just an army base with the 25th Infantry Division. Shortly thereafter, the Americans liberated it, took it back, and they needed support people out there for the O1s. I was sent from Cu Chi out to Tay Ninh when they reopened the base. I got there in June of 1968 and met a gentleman by the name of Don, and Don and I were the only two Air Force maintenance people out there. And our base was between the 8th Aeroport, which was the operating airport designation, and the control tower for Tay Ninh. We had 4 O1s out there, and we had 4 pilots. We had all the white phosphorus Willie Pete's we needed in our bunker, and they flew missions, only during the day. In August, Don and I worked a 24 on, 24 off shift because there were only 2 of us. And on Don's day off, he went to visit friends on the other side of the base. And I was there by myself. There was an Army unit right next to me that ran the control tower, and the airport was closed at sundown. So I was basically out there by myself. And approximately 12:30, give or take, we came under rocket attack. And the rockets were very precise. They landed in the middle of 8 55-gallon drums full of diesel fuel at the base of the control tower that was used to operate the generator that ran the control tower. And the explosion totally engulfed everything where I was at, including me. I was picked up from my bed that I was lying on, thrown across the room, slammed into some metal storage cabinets that the pilots used to keep their gear in, and knocked out. I woke up shortly thereafter, flames all around me, and ran outside, at which time there were a bunch of the Army people next door to me that had run over to see what was going on. Unbeknownst to me, I did not know I'd been hit. I had no indication that I'd been hit. It's dark. I'm running around out there. I walk outside, realized I have to get to my aircraft to take care of them, make sure that they're not damaged. I start walking out briskly, and a gentleman stopped me, an Army guy stopped me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to check my aircraft." He said, "No, you're not." He said, "You've been hit. And it's dark, I can't see anything." And he shines a flashlight on me. And I am burnt from the waist up. Yes. At which time I went into shock. The next thing I knew, I woke up in the MASH unit. I was being administered to by the doctors. Some of the finest people I've ever met. Doctors in Vietnam were wonderful people. They did everything they could to help the individuals that had been wounded over there. I was there for approximately a week, in which time I was evacuated back to Benoit, to the main hospital. And I was at the hospital in Benoit for approximately 2 months, recuperating from my wounds. I finally recovered sufficiently and was released back and went back to work at Benoit, at the main station. They're doing maintenance on O1s, at which time they brought in O2s and OV-10s to replace the O1 because it was such a slow aircraft. And I was there until I left, came home.
What year did you come home?
I came home in 1969.
Cocktail!